right, guys, welcome back. It is Thursday night. It's the first time in about a week that it's not 100 degrees outside, in the daylight. So I figured I'll take a ride. Sorry if it's a little windy, but it's about 97 out here right now. I'm in Northern California, and I finally got a chance to take the bike out. I've been itching to go riding, so I'm like, before I do my video tonight, I figure I'd take a bike ride. We're on about a 5-mile ride, and I'm starting to kind of head back home. Tonight we're going to do BMX action, December 1982. This one doesn't have a cover, which you'll see in a moment, and it has Greg Grubbs on the cover. It's a great shot. He's racing for Factory Redline, and I love the grubby one. And I love those eyeglasses he used to race with, because I used to wear those in elementary school. We got the NBL War of the Stars. It's going to be an Ascot, and then there's the NBL Grands covered in this one. So great photos in the magazine. I took a time to kind of thumb through it, take a look. A lot of good pictures in there. So it should be a great review. December 82, I was kind of thinking, what the hell was happening in December 82? So kind of a quick story. I was in the 7th grade. Ooh, I love looking at the water when I ride by. Sorry, I got distracted. This is all brand new development. That is 24 feet deep, that man-made lake. Anyway, I got distracted. So anyway, I was going to the 7th grade, first year in junior high. Well, I guess we call it middle school now. So I'm going to school in Hayward, California. Typically what I would do is stay at my grandmother's house, during the day. And then I would go to my house in the evening. My mom would pick me up, bring me home, all that good stuff. Me and my sister basically did the same routine. And she went all the way through, she graduated. Anyway, I got to the 7th grade. I was in La Vista Junior High, and there was this lady. Her name was Mrs. Hannah. She was one of the hardest, meanest teachers I've ever had in my entire life. Sorry to say if somebody knows her, she was just very mean. Anyway, man, she's going around the classroom, and she's asking everybody, hey, I need your phone numbers. So in case you do not do your homework, I'm going to call your parents. So, everybody's giving her the phone numbers and whatnot. And I gave her my phone number. Now, when I gave her my phone number, the prefix for my phone number was for Union City, not for Hayward. So when she saw that, she knew something was wrong. And she goes, wait a minute, this is not a Hayward phone number. And I go, yeah, no, I live in Union City. And she goes, well, if you live in Union City, ooh, a jackrabbit. See how distracted I get, guys? If you live in Union City, why are you going to school in Hayward? And I explained to her, both my parents work. I go to school here, and then I go home in the evening. And she goes, well, you can't go to school here. And I'm like, well, I've been doing it for 7 years, and I didn't think much of it. Continued on with the class, whatever the case may be. And then I'm telling you guys, the very next day, I get called into my counselor's office, and he goes, hey, Danny, so sit down. I sat down. He goes, so tell me, where do you live? He set me up, man. And I'm like, Union City. I didn't think about to lie. I was just an innocent kid, And he goes, well, why are you going to school here? Same song and dance. I'd explain it to him. He goes, well, you can't go to school here. And they sent me home. So I was like, oh, crap, So I got sent home, and I called my mom at work, told her what happened. She said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Mom always took care of everything, that's guaranteed, And so mom picks me up, takes me home. She goes, I'm going to call the school district tomorrow and see what I can do. And she called the district and went back and forth with them, and they just were not complying. They were not going to let me go to school there, and my mom was going to have to jump through hoops and go to the school board. And I finally said, hey, Mom, listen. She goes, what? I go, I'll just transfer. And she goes, are you sure? I go, yeah, I'll just transfer. And so I ended up switching schools in the 7th grade. It was around October 82, which is ironically around the time this magazine came out. And I was like, okay, so I started going to Bernard White Middle School in Union City. And you know what? To make a long story short, that was kind of the best thing that could have happened to me, because I got to go to James Logan High School as opposed to Tennyson High School. And James Logan High School is kind of like, I don't know, it was like it had money, it was a much bigger school, much better school, and and get this, guys, for the first time in my life, I had friends in my neighborhood because I was never home during the day. So all the kids in my neighborhood were complete strangers. Anyway, long story. Let's get into the magazine, guys. I will see you in there. I'm anxious to get into this one, and let's see what happens. All right, let's get into it. Now, I'll insert the picture of the cover here before we get too far into the magazine, but as it says here in the insert, it's the Redline's new hyper wacko factory dude. He's a Nebraska kid, gray grubs at South Park, Pittsburgh, and of course the photo is by Bob Osborne. I'll go ahead, like I said, I'll insert it so you guys can take a look at it. It's a really great shot. It's kind of a bummer I actually don't have it. So this is, again, BMX Action, December 1982. Inside this magazine, we've got Deer Whiz, of course. Travel from Abaki with Love, Arabian Acrobatics, Dutch Dropovers. Not sure what that means, but I'm sure we're going to figure it out. We got Racing Tips for Beginners, Mongoose NBL War of the Stars, and Ascot, which I mentioned on the bike ride. We got an interview with Earthquake Clarence Perry. They're testing the Redline MX3 600A, which I'm assuming is right here. We had a freestyle how-to, and then we have products. And then it looks like we got the NBL Grands. Wow, this thing is filled. Rumors, revelations, and drivel. Sharpshooting and odds and endos. Love it, man. Love it. All right, let's break this thing open. Let's see what we got. Now this one is, it's a very, very old magazine. It's from '82, so it's super delicate. The pages are really soft and they feel like they're gonna rip in my hand, so I'm gonna go really easy on this one. First things first, E.T., awesome. Movie just came out. Alina Seats was on the, looks like it was on the stock Kuwahara that they utilized for the movie. And this is just a great, great shot. Love how they incorporated the whole ET thing in there, and Kuwahara basically owned that. So that's amazing. Plus, this is just looks like the movie poster. So that looks great. We got the ultimate weapon is about to strike. This looks like some sort of some grips. No idea who's making this, what product it is, because nowhere in here does it say what the product is. It just says it's, well, and maybe it's on the other page. Let's turn it over and let's see what happens. Oh, you know what, guys? It's a Schwinn ad. My bad. So it's the Predator and Arsenal of Chrome Moly machines. Wow. And I mentioned this probably a couple magazines back. The Schwinn Predator was probably one of the most popular bikes that I would see, you know, riding around the neighborhoods, because for a couple $100, you can get a very nice quality entry-level BMX race bike. And here are the prices for them here on the left-hand side. Let's read this really quick. So the Schwinn Sting was the top of the line bike. It went for $399.95. They had the 24-inch version of it for $259.95. They had something called the Team Z that went for $244.95. Team Alloy went for $239.95. And then we have the Chromo with mags, which I guess would be a tough wheel, $204.95. Chromo Free, which had a steel rim with a free wheel for $174.95. And then they had a Chromo with a 16-inch wheel, which went $164.95. So Schwinn was still getting busy in 1982, and it was the beginning of big things for them. Obviously, if it wasn't for the Schwinn Stingray, there would be like pretty much no BMX. Love this bike though, love it. It's very similar to what my first actual BMX race bike looked like, you know, with the Haro type levers on it, V-line handlebars. They were kind of like a knockoff of the Redline handlebars. Front brakes, mine came with front brakes too. I did not have the three-piece alloy cranks, so this is a pretty good set of cranks on here, but overall, pretty good bike. All right, let's move on. Some more Schwinn stuff here. Now, this is pretty cool because I had a stem very similar to this stem, and it was on the one of my first actual race bikes, and I talked about this in a previous video. It was called the Sakaya. It was kind of a Taiwan type bike, and it had a stem very similar to this, and the stem, I cracked it right here. It literally snapped off, and it was because I cased a set of doubles. I hit my front wheel on the second jump, snapped it right off, and it looked just like this. So I really recognize, I definitely recognize that stem. I had these brakes on my first bike, and this brake lever, which was a knockoff Haro lever. You can see it's not plastic like the actual Haro levers were. It's kind of like it's kind of like an aluminum feel. I can't really remember exactly. And then, but these cranks look really, really nice. I like the cranks. Let's keep on going. Okay, this ad right here is, I never snowboarded in my life, but I remember seeing this ad. So this is pretty cool. And these hubs are awesome. I had a set of these. And what does it say here on Dear Whiz? Let's check this out. It says, Dear Whiz, since titanium is such a hot metal, very strong, very light, why doesn't somebody manufacture titanium frames, forks, and other BMX parts? That was a question from Sean Calhoun in Cypress, California. And the answer was, because you're talking mega bucks here, Sean. A titanium frame would probably go for somewhere around $1,000, just the frame, Oz. Now, here's the funny thing, and frames are super expensive now, especially if you're talking carbon fiber. Yeah, they exceed $1,000 for a frame. So what Oz was talking about then is, although it's not titanium, it's carbon fiber, we've actually reached that reality now where you just can't get a frame for, $100. And I remember, I've mentioned this in previous videos as well. I remember going into to bicycle shops back in the 80s, especially 82, 83, 84, and the bike shops would be loaded. I'm talking loaded, guys, with bike frames, bike parts, everything you could potentially need was already in the bike shop. And the cool thing about it was I remember specifically going into certain bike shops and there would be frames hanging everywhere, all over the ceiling. You literally could just pick your frame. Anything, Diamondback, CW, Mongoose, Patterson, Skyway, Hutch, anything you could think of was probably hanging from those frames and those rafters. So that was just a really cool time. This is just such a cool time to grow up in. Let's go to the next page before I turn this into a 2-hour video. Okay, now I don't know what the deal is with these pedals. Never seen anybody actually use the pedals. They look like they're made of Legos. They look useless. Don't know if I don't know if anybody ever owned a pair of Excel. Now these came pretty much standard on any sort of bicycle you would have bought back in the early 80s. So yeah, I recognize these pedals, but this definitely not. They look like total trash. I don't know. Maybe they were good. Maybe they weren't though. We got Johar here, Johar of California. You got the Johar pad sets, and this looks reminiscent. Oh, it is a Rad Grip Cruiser, Rad Grip BMX. I had a set of these. This little foamy thing, like we talked about before, would just basically deteriorate and fall apart pretty easily. So although it was a cool, comfortable concept, it just never lasted. And I really like these brake lever covers. I thought those were really trick. And what was it, Terry cable that actually had it part of the actual cable itself, where it had a sleeve on it. I always thought that looked really, really cool. Shazam! Arrow grants you your first wish in your Cashamax seats. I had this one, definitely had this one. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Although I love this Cashamax Arrow, this Cashamax MX seat, I thought looked cleaner. So at one point in time, I was using these, but I went back to this one because I thought this one looked cleaner, which I'm kind of picky when it comes to seats, I like to use road bike seats just because I think they look so nice and trick. But that's a whole other subject. We won't get into that. We got the classic Torquer ad here with Clint Miller. In my last video, I believe it was in my last video, we saw Clint Miller win his world championships, which was really, really cool. And it was a race I hadn't seen, so it was really cool. All right, let's move on. Oh, look at these shots, guys. So from Abaki, I don't know how to pronounce this guy would love. So this is obviously the Middle East, but look at this shot of RL just killing it on the quarter pipe there. Oh, these are great pictures. I remember this one specifically with the Porsche 944, Mike Buff jumping over it. Here's the funny thing is the Porsche 944, it's not the fastest car in the world, but it's something that I've always wanted. And I remember, I think it was in 16 Candles, the main character, Jake, he had a red Porsche 944 like this. And when I saw it in the movie, I was like, I want that. It's so funny. We got a wheel hop here. This is really cool. It says there's a whole lot of trick riding going on in Holland. This is Ronnie Crows showing RL and Buff a new trick, the front wheel hop. You have to have four arms like Popeye to do this. So that's really cool. So check them out. They're watching him intently doing this front wheel hop, and they're like, "Oh, we need to learn that." You can actually tell from that shot. Great shot of Buff right here, killing it. And you know he's on a PK Ripper there. That's a great shot. All right, let's move on. All right. And this is more shots from the freestyle show. They're jumping on the flat ground right here. BMX Action Trick Team. These are great shots. And we got Scott Brythop here. This is a great shot of Scott. Just that July is the anniversary of his passing, which is really sad. And I was actually watching a little clip on YouTube regarding what happened, when he passed away, and the lot that he passed away in, and they put a little memorial there for him. And it's just really sad because this guy's obviously, if it wasn't for Scott, we wouldn't have any of this stuff. He created it. All right, let's keep on keeping on. I definitely remember this picture. Oh man, that is so cool. They got Brythops in there, Buff, Osborne. This is just a great shot of them. Check this out. It got to be 120 degrees during the day in Saudi, so most of the trick team shows were in the gyms in the evening. The guys said when they were done with the show during the day, it would take them 3 hours to stop sweating. Wow, 120 degrees. Man, I could relate to that. It's been super hot out here lately, but it hasn't been 120. Great shot here. We got the Sun Tour ad here with Redline Factory rider Stu Thompson and this young man here, Trapper Younger. Trapper was 5 years old at the time in 1982, so you can imagine he's a grown-ass man now. This magazine's very old. All right, let's keep on going. Racing Basics, tips for the beginners. This is great. Look at the illustration right here. He's reading racing tips. Got the stars on the helmet. Look at the pie plates. That's really cool. And what does it say? Understanding BMX, general advice, the lines, starts, pedaling, coasting, braking, turns, speed jumps, whoop-de-doos, which is kind of like doubles, traffic, passing, protecting your lead in the summary. So that's great. That'd be great to read. I wish I had time to go through it, and I will be reading it later just for old time's sake. So that's really cool. Ooh, look at that. Hutch was already in business. This is 1982. They got a full page ad here, although it's in black and white. New 1983 models are now available for Hutch High Performance Racing products. Very cool. Now, the interesting thing about 1982 is this was the year that I actually began to race. So I was brand new to the sport, although I had been reading about the sport prior to me racing in 1982, and I had cousins that were already racing. So when I got my opportunity to race, it was in late 82. So it took me a while, man, to get this to get the hang of it. And I was talking to Kevin on the BM Experts podcast, and he has me on every once in a while, and we were talking about it. I said it took me a long time, man. It took me almost a year to win a trophy, and it was just trial and error. And a lot of it was I loved the sport. I loved going to the races. I loved being in that whole atmosphere and just that whole thing about being a racer. I just loved it. But I had a lot of fear too. It took a lot of practice over a summer in 83 for me to really become efficient and learn how to ride. And that was just going and riding at trails with my friends all summer long. And then when I started racing again, I was much better. I was more competitive because I was more comfortable on the bike. Although I always felt like on the street, on flat ground, I could go as fast as I wanted, but as soon as I got to the track, I just lost all that confidence. But that's a whole other topic. Let's keep on going. We got world class. Look at this 2-page ad from Mongoose. You gotta love it. You got this Mongoose Suburban in the background. I know there's a Hot Wheel I've seen that floating around on Facebook. Love the old leathers for Mongoose. This is just a very cool ad. And here's all your trick Mongooses here. You got some cruisers in the background, the Moto Mags. You got tough wheels on one of them here, and then rims. These are really very cool. Mongoose was definitely one of the first bikes that I ever really wanted as far as the BMX bike is concerned. And although I never really owned a Mongoose, I had a whole lot of desire to want one. I remember when I first saw one, I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, and I saw my first mongoose, and I was like, oh my God, that is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And, you know, so I still look at these now and admire them. I love to see the old stuff being restored. Let's keep on going. We got the Thun Cranks ad. This is a great shot. And if you can't beat them, and this is, oh, look at all these products. We got Arrow here. This Arrow number plate is awesome. Arrow jerseys. They had, I guess, oops, sorry guys, I bumped the camera. So they were doing a GT, Redline, Schwinn, and the BMX Action Trick Team. Very, very cool. Very cool. All right, let's keep on going. Oh, here we go. Ascot. This is the Mongoose NBL War of the Stars. And what do we got here? This is a beautiful shot right here. I love this. It says Bob Woods splits his time between Formula Ford racing and BMX. If you're ever serious about BMX, he was, wait a minute, let me go back. It says here, if he ever got totally serious about BMX, he has the speed and moves to break into the Big Five. First in Pro Trophy, inches in front of Brian Patterson and old Greg Grubbs. There's Grubbs right there and Brian Patterson. This is just a great shot. And at this point, he's on the newest mongoose. This is the next generation mongoose right here, which is very, very cool. Look at this, the 14 and over open. And let's see, everybody got an excellent start except Chanity, number 2, was a little bit excellenter. King was second, and Keith Gaynor, number 1, third. Check out Bubba Hayes, number 27. For a little skinny guy, he's hanging right in with the bruisers. That is a great, great, great shot, man. I hope you guys can see this clear on camera. And then we've got aerial dueling here with Bark and Horton, valuable real estate, and 12 expert. Great shot. Great shot. Love it. Okay, let's keep on going. Oh, check out Grubbs. He's locked up, man. He's doing the Leary right here. And we got Pete Loncarevich. He's blasting over these doubles right here on Factory Diamondback. And then we have, oh, what is this? What do we got going on here? We got Greg Hill did it again. As always, his performance was strong and clean, 0 mistakes, and fiendishly fast. Great shot of Greg Hill right there. And whoa, look at this one. That's Charlie Williams right there, blasting, of course, Sean Texas. Kind of hard to overlook Sean there. Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, as far as the results, A Pro, so I guess that's Elite Pro today. So Greg Hill won that one, Stu Thompson second, Brian Patterson third, Rod Beckering fourth, looks like Brent Patterson fifth, and then Turnell Henry, and then we had Grubbs and McDaniel. So great finish for those guys. Greg Hill took it. Pro Cruiser, it was Turnell won that one, Botima, Natchman, Perry, Juarez, McCarthy, Patterson, David Doe. And then B Pro, Mike Miranda won that one with Perry and what was that? Fifth Field picked it up. Pro Trophy, Woods got that one, and Brian Patterson, and then Grubbs. So great. Look at 17 and over expert. Lee Medlin won that one. That's really cool. Loncarevich won 15 expert. That's crazy to think, Pete was 15 at the time. Man, time goes so fast, guys. I say that quite a bit. And I'm always shocked, just looking at this magazine, and you realize how much time has gone by. When I laid my eyes on this magazine, I was 12 years old. It's just strange to think of it sometimes. All right, let's keep going. Wow, look at this shot right here. Lee Medlin left Kuwahara, picked up a temporary ride for Ascot, then signed on the new Raleigh team. At Ascot, he dusted a bunch of heavy dudes to win the tough 17 and over expert class. This shot right here, probably one of my favorite gate shots. And it's in I think it's in that complete book of BMX, this actual picture here. And I love this, how everybody has this perfect snap. You can see Tommy's kind of leaning over, but it says classic 2-pedal starting style, except for Bracken's down at the end, who just nailed the gate and is about to bail. But this is a great shot. And it's so cool to see this now. And you watch, let's just take it to today's sport and watching the guys come out of the gate. It looks very similar. So it's like these guys perfected what's going on today. So, and nobody's jumping the gate. This is just perfect. Love it. All right, let's keep on going here. We got the curb endo here with Eddie Viola. Crazy looking shorts. And it says Wharton and Ariano are here on the bottom. He was racing, Ariano was on JMC. Jason was on Diamondback. And let's see, probably the shortest legend in the world, Jeff Schofield, doubled in Ascot. That's badass. Love it. I love it. Look at KKT AMX pedals. 1982-09 catalog is here. Wow. Zap pads. There's the Terry cable that we were talking about a moment ago. And of course, now it's 1982 and profile cranks, probably the best set of cranks I've ever owned. These cranks are still awesome today. It's kind of hard to argue that. I think profile some of the best cranks ever made. And I love these and Redline flights. It's just a toss-up for me for either one. Let's move on. Oh, check it out. Earthquake, Clarence Perry, and CW. What are some of the stats for Clarence back then? He was 21 years old. He's from Tacoma, Washington. He was racing for CW. He had Terry cables, Skyway, Shimano, Vans, Flying W, Echo, M&M, Apparel, and Bart's wheels, all supporting him, plus Amy and Max. Now he says Skyway here. I don't see him running Tough Wheels, but I have seen videos where he's actually on Tough Wheels. So I don't know what the deal is here. Let's see. His personal racing gear was an Echo helmet, Amy visor, Amy goggles, Jofa mouthguard, M&M jersey, Max pants, Vans high top tennies, MXL gloves, Max body pads. His bicycle, well, they called it a vehicle. He had a CW24, a CW24 fork, CW cruiser handlebars, Pro Neck stem, Amy Tri grips. Ooh, love those. Those are my favorite. Tangy headset, array aluminum alloy wheels, and just so on and so on and so on. I won't read all that, but it's pretty cool. It looks like this is all based on his cruiser here. The Earthquake jams. Let's see. Don't go into a seizure. That 4x4 sticking out is only foam. Oh, that is a great shot. Great shot. All right, let's move on. Oh, here we go. Redline's new 600A. That's pretty cool. Longer, lower, lighter, and meaner. Nice setup. Nice setup. I love it. Pretty much everything on this bike is all you would need. It's weird rake on the handlebars there. And no Redline flights, absent of that, but it does have alloy cranks on it. Looks like a very quality bike. Good job, Redline. All right, let's keep on moving. Oh, here we go. Oakley. Now, I mentioned Oakley before. I love the effort that Oakley put into their ads. I mean, look at this. This is just professional all the way through. And remember, I'm 12 years old looking at this, going, wow, those grips are awesome, pretty much life size, or bigger. And you just look at them and go, wow, that's just a great ad. Okay, let's keep going. All right, Team Murray. Team Murray introduces the hottest new bike in BMX. The Murray X20R. Team Murray gives you more. Never owned a Team Murray. I know a lot of kids did in my neighborhood. They were super, super popular because they were all over the department stores and they were dirt cheap and they looked like BMX bikes. Now, did they ride like BMX bikes? No, they were very, very heavy and the parts on them weren't the greatest. But if you're just a neighborhood kid and you wanted a BMX type bike, and you couldn't go wrong with the Murray. Platinum Zap pads, one of my favorite set of pads. I had this exact ones because of this guy right here, Greg Hill. So that's a really cool ad. All right, check this out. Whoa, look at these dudes. Redline MX3 600A. It's the bike we were just checking out in the ad. And we've got RL in Cosmala, 25 feet above Lake Isabella and heading out. Wow, they are crushing it. Look at this, the height on that. That is just freaking rad. Even by today's standards, that is amazing. All right, let's keep moving. Oh, check it out. We got the Redline is the most excellent scoot after you get the bars dialed in. Perfect for racing, freestyling, streeting, or showboating like RL here is doing here on the 360. Funny how he said when the bars are dialed in, and it was one of the first things I noticed about the bars. They looked a little strange to me. I remember this picture of this kid. What did he say? Why don't you guys ever put ordinary people in your magazine? I remember that. That's so funny. I remember seeing that specifically. Let's keep on going. And this is the bike. This is the one we just saw in the ad. And so the bike itself, the frame was 4 pounds, 1 ounce. The forks were 2 pounds. So that's about typical from what you would see. The frame was 4130 chrome moly along with the forks. The handlebars were Kazuki V-bar mild steel. So the handlebars definitely are not chrome moly and they're very, very small. If you look at the bike itself, the size of the bike, and look at the bars, they're very small. I have some of these hanging in my garage because, we all started with handlebars similar to that. you know, so eventually you just have to move on to bigger bars. And the funny thing is, when I did replace these handlebars on my personal bike and I went with a CW standard, the bike rode completely different, guys. I mean, completely different. It was nothing near the same. And all it was the handlebar change. You know, I remember that specifically. Wow, this is a great shot of the Robinson team. Danny Nelson, Travis Chiprez, Sean Roberts, Todd Henry, Darren Peary, and Scott Stout. Factory Robinson. Wow, love that. That is amazing looking. This is a great shot. We got IRC tires. That's a great ad. Oh, I remember this one. I had this hanging on my wall. I don't know why I cut this out. Probably because of the girls. But Ross Bicycles. That's a classic ad. And I had some Gold Line pants like this too. I had the red with white stripe, but I had these pants. And we got Stick 'em Up BMX specials. Look at MX pants for $39. You can get a hat for $6. BMX Pro. Sunglasses for $8. Everything in here is super cheap. You can get a visor for $2. BMX Pro wallet for $6. Scott goggles were 12. Can't hate on that. Oh, what do we got here? How to do standout stands on both tires. This is really cool. So we got, is this Buff? I think this got to be Buff. He's on a PK Ripper. So he's gonna do a brake endo here. He comes back down and then he pulls up the front wheel and tucks. That looks really clean. It's pretty simple trick, but it looks really cool. Yeah, that's a great shot. And they're called seesaws. And we got the Raddest Gift Under the Tree, BMX Action. And that was $14.50 for a full year of BMX Action. Love it. You know, it wasn't uncommon for my mom to put BMX magazines in my stocking and so forth on Christmas morning. And I used to love it. And sometimes she'd get me ones I already had and I didn't even care. I was just like, man, my mom's awesome. We got Vector handlebars, Stars in Stock, Phil Wood and Company. And look at this shot, this illustration, the world's nastiest downhill track. Look at that, there's just a cliff. That's awesome. California Lights getting into the lightning bolts, very similar to Zap pads. And we got, before you pick a BMX stem, check out Wind Durable Series. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's weird how these stems kind of like point downwards like this. It looks kind of like a duck beak. It's weird. But anyway, let's keep on going. Oh, love it. No competition at this price. $265 for the Diamondback Silver Streak. This is, I believe, one of the #1 selling BMX bikes ever was the Diamondback Silver Streak, and it's pretty easy to see why. The bike had really good components on it, and it just looked super trick. I mean, right out of the box. The handlebars are super tiny, but other than that, the bike itself looks super, super cool. And Diamondback had a big budget, and it was had a lot to do with the sale of their bicycles. So that's just a great, great shot. I love it. All right, let's keep on going. Oh, here's probably one of the most iconic pictures and ads ever. The Harry Larry Turbo, possibly one of the most beautiful stock bikes that you can buy, and a bike that didn't require really any changes whatsoever. As is, it was just perfect. Down to the cranks, pedals, little Alcantara on the seat, the smoked black chrome on it. It had array of wheels, and the nipples were black. This bike was just amazing. I used to see this thing sitting in bike shops all the time, and I was like fascinated by this bike. I wanted it so bad. I go, man, I really want one of those. My cousin James got one though eventually. I thought that bike was so trick. And here we are. We are now at the NBL Grand Nationals. I'm almost positive that I have some footage of this race on some previous videos, because I remember this whole situation here. These things look very, very similar to me. I'm sorry. It looks similar. I don't know why I'm saying similar. It looks. Sorry, guys, it's getting late. It looks familiar to me. Sorry about that. So we've got some great shot here of Stu and Woods there. And we got Jeff Moten and Jason Wharton going at it right here. And then national #1 cruiser again, Brent Patterson won that national title for the NBL on cruisers. We got Doug Davis as a 13-year-old expert there. Eddie King back here, and we got Nelson Chanity. And it says here that Eddie smoked 17 expert, but Nelson Chandy scarfed the #1 plate. That's really cool. Kosmala and Driscoll here. And then, of course, we got Stu Thompson and Jeff Schofield. These are really, really great shots. Really great shots. Ooh, look at this ad. Kuwahara. That looks like Gary Ellis right there. That's a great, great shot of Gary. Let's take a look at some of these results. Now, these are the national #1 winners for 1982. Stu Thompson won the national title for pro. Brent Patterson picked up the national title for pro cruiser. That's really cool. And as far as they have national #1s for all the age groups here, we won't go through them all, but it's really cool how they recognized who the national #1 riders were for each of those classes. That's really cool. Oh, here's the actual track. So that looks really awesome. We got, it looks like a peaky speed jump right here. Speed jumps were really like tricky if you didn't know what you were doing. Because for me, I'm a shorter guy, so speed jumping was a little hard. And sometimes if the jump was too peaky, I ended up getting in the air. And that's the last thing you want to do is get in the air. And then there's another speed jump here going into your first turn. Speed jump, step jump. I like step jumps. Then we got a nice bank turn here. Going at it, this is turn 2 into a tabletop, leading into some triples. It says jump the first 2 whoops, and then Power Riders went for all 3. You got a small speed jump right here. It says no big deal, just ride it. Entering into the final turn, 1 more speed jump, and then it looks like a small set of doubles going into the finish line. And then check out Toby Henderson. Man, he tacoed that back wheel. Gnarly crash in his second moto. Eliminated Toby Henderson from any chance of a #1 plate in the 20-inch pro class. We got Jason Griggs right here for Factory Hutch. Rusty Cable up here, and then 14 and over Maine, Gus Rao, #1. Later to everybody, Ellis, #17, was second, and a new name on the national scene was Cho Henderson with #3, or came in third. And this is the Grand National results. So A Pro Money, Bobby Woods, Stu Thompson, Jeff Ruminaire, Brent Patterson, Tommy Brackens, Tinker Juarez was still in there. All right. Scott Clark, Brian Patterson. Pro Cruiser, Brent Patterson won that. Jeff Kamala. Robbie Roop, Tinker Juarez, Jim Wallace, Jeff Botima, Toby Henderson, and Roland Vate. Pretty cool. Pro Trophy, Tommy Brackens, Bobby Woods, and Stu Thompson. And then finally B Pro, Mike Miranda, Bob Madrano, and Steve Nogara. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, there's a great shot of Richie Anderson. The Avalanche rolled over 14 expert at Pittsburgh. Richie Anderson back up to full boost. And then there's Toby right here. These are really, really great shots. This is a long magazine, guys. Here we go with the SE bus. I was just watching a documentary on that the other day on YouTube. And I think this whole story of this summer tour for the SE bus, man, that would make a great movie. I think somebody needs to make that. We got Star Bar Products. This was Greg Hill's dad's company at the time, and eventually this all became GHP. So if you look at this frame and fork, it looks very similar to what a GHP is. So that makes sense to me, though. We got first, Haro number plates. That is a great ad. Love that. Love that. Let's read another Dear Whiz. They're way back here in the back of the magazine. It says, Dear Whiz. It was titled Megabucks. How much does a top pro with a solid factory ride such as Greg Hill or Stu rake in annually? I've seen a lot of BMX on TV lately. It looks like the sport is really moving. And that was written by Brian Fernandez out of San Rafael, California. And it says, here's the answer. The absolute top riders in BMX, somewhere between $35,000 and $65,000 per year plus expenses. There may be 10 riders that fall in that category. Maybe there will be 1 or 2 who slip past this, and that's it. That's all Oz said. So that's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, we know BMX racers don't make the biggest money, but you know, 35 to 65,000. If you're making 65 grand a year in 1982 racing BMX bikes, you're doing really well for yourself. Let's see, Mega Muscles. Dear Whiz, the Torker Barbarian ad was excellent. My friends and I decided the Barbarian was either Harry Larry or Stu Thompson, and that was written by Craig Geyer out of Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And he said, not too swift, you guys. This is the most obvious thing in the world, and it went right over everybody's heads. In all the letters we got, nobody guessed that it was Clint Miller. That makes sense. It does look like, I mean, I haven't seen the ad, or maybe I haven't, I don't remember, but it's a Torker ad, so it must have been Clint. Let's read one more, guys. Mega Cheese. Dear Wiz, you had the King of Skate Parks in August issue. How come Jeff Watson wasn't there to compete? And that was by Flyin' Brian Emerson. It says he didn't leave his address. I don't know. Maybe he cheesed. There's supposed to be another skate park competition coming up in Watson's home park in Rancho. Maybe he'll be at that one. That was Oz's response. Okay, pretty simple. JT ad. We've seen this one a million times. Gators. I don't never understood gators. I had these. I had those. I had Scott goggles, and that's pretty much. I think I had a JT mask at one point, or JT Jofa, or whatever you want to call it. Oh wow! Ride like a winner. Pro Sight. Kind of a Haro knockoff, but still pretty cool. We got the Vans trick team here. That's really cool. You can see freestyle was really at its very early stages. And when second best is unacceptable, GT. Great ad. Love this one. I've seen this one before. I like it. Man, I love these frame and forks. Such great frame and forks. That's for the time, and still are. Nelson Chanity. Hot gear for school. Race ready gear. Wheeling things. Sagino. That's a cool ad. I've seen this one a million times. And lead the pack into the future with the new knobby gnarlier tire. Looks a lot like the competition 3 tire for Tioga, but I'm not sure what company this is. I guess it's Gnarler. We're going to keep moving. Oh, the BMX freestyling book is right there. That's pretty cool. And then the ProCraft. I remember seeing this ad. And look at it. It's also got these tiny little V-line handlebars on there. It's funny, when I found mine underneath my dad's workshop, and I was like, golly, how did I ride with these? But it looks like it's pretty common for the time to have those. All right, let's keep moving. Ukiah, Scott Clark. You got your BMX Action trick team gear here, which is really cool. And that's it. Here are the odds and endos. Looks like we got Sewell right here. That's really cool. This is a great thing. I mean, I miss all this little silliness, odds and endos and so forth. But that, guys, is it. That was BMX Action, December 1982. I really love when I find old magazines like this one. This was a really fun one, guys. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll be doing a race video next, and that hopefully will be within the next week or so. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.